Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I'm so excited for today's video because it's top of mind with the holiday season coming around and hopefully it's really helpful for you guys. Today we are talking all about DIYing your own holiday photos and taking your family pictures, family holiday cards, anything like that all on your own. This doesn't have to be holiday specific though. Hopefully these tips and tricks are just helpful in general for taking your own family photos. We typically use a go-to photographer for all of like my maternity photos or holiday card photos, Christmas pictures, anything like that. And she had to cancel this year because obviously it's 2020. So we ended up DIYing them, taking pictures ourselves. We don't have family nearby and I didn't want to ask friends to jump on that adventure bandwagon with us. So we took them ourselves and I think they turned out really good. I'm so happy with them. And so we definitely picked up some tips and tricks along the way and I'm going to share those with you guys today. I'm going to be talking about camera equipment, ways to take the pictures yourselves, ways to make it easier, some things I wish we would have done, outfit coordination and outfit planning, location best practices, weather best practices, everything like that. I'll have any equipment I talk about linked in the description box down below, and then you guys can always find me on Instagram too if you're interested in seeing more of our family shenanigans behind the scenes. But without further ado, let's jump into the video. So first up, I'm going to talk about equipment and cameras. I have a Sony, just kidding, I have a Canon 70D. That's just what I use for filming these videos and that's what we use to take our pictures. I also bought a separate lens that I use, a Sigma lens that I use again for filming and that we used for taking our pictures. But you definitely don't need a heavy duty camera like that in order to take your own photos. If you're starting out with taking pictures for yourself or you're looking to document your family a little bit more, a vlogging camera will do the trick. This is the one I use. It's the Canon G7X. This one's great because it has stabilization built into it. So for me, I have a little bit of shaky hands. It helps with that. So the stabilization helps if you do have shaky hands like me, or just if you're running around with your kids and you're feeling a little chaotic like that. This one is a little pricey depending on what your budget is, so you definitely don't have to go for this one, but I figured I would share it since it's the one I use and I can back it and, you know, put my name on it and tell you it's a good camera, but really any camera will work. You can also just use your phone to take your family photos. We'll talk more about that in a little bit, but don't feel like you need a fancy piece of equipment to do so. Your phone, portrait mode, anything like that will do just the trick too. I also figured I would mention this camera. So this is my old vlogging camera. This is a Sony one, and this one's great because it has a skin blurring effect. So if you're looking for professional level photos or you're looking for like really polished and sort of perfect holiday photos, which may not feel in line with 2020 or may not feel in line for you, but a lot of people when they typically pay for a photographer, that's additional work the photographer will do afterwards. It's sort of like smooth any blemishes out or edit things out of the background. So this camera has that built in, so you don't have to worry about that. The Canon G7X has a little bit of that, not a lot. The Sony will give you more of that sort of like airbrushed look. Then next up, you're gonna wanna get a tripod. So the great thing with taking your own photos is that it's super easy with a tripod. Any camera you can typically mount onto a tripod. So this tripod is specifically for your phone. This part actually screws off the top though, so you could use it just like a regular tripod for a camera as well too, but it's great because it's super affordable. I got it on Amazon. It even has a level built into the back so you can see how in line your pictures are. And then this little extension, you can actually just clip your phone in, prop the tripod up, and take pictures that way. So depending on the camera, that's what's going to determine the type of tripod you get, but pick yourself up a tripod so that you can just prop it up and you guys can get pictures all together. You don't have to have a designated photographer that way, and you wanna make sure you're getting everybody in the family included. Now, in terms of taking the photo, you could obviously use a timer. Our phones have those, cameras have those in terms of just like a 3-second timer or a 10-second timer, but the problem with that is that you end up pushing the button and then running back to get in your spot, and it can feel a little discombobulated, like trying to get there and pose and just have it be really organized. So a remote like this is going to be key. This is kind of like the secret sauce of taking your own pictures. This is a remote meant for camera, so this is what I use with the big camera like I'm filming on right now. This is actually what we use to take our holiday photos, but like I said, the great part is that pretty much if you can find it for a heavy duty camera, you can find the same version for your phone. So this one is one that just hooks up via Bluetooth to your cell phone. It works for both Android and iOS. It's super easy to pair, and then you just hit the button and you're able to take selfies that way too. So like I said, no heavy duty equipment needed. This tripod I think was 20 bucks. It's a little janky looking right now because my kids play with it, but this tripod was 20 bucks. You just hook your phone up and then get the remote, which was like $13. So at most you're spending $40, and then you can invest in bigger equipment if you'd like to. Once you have your equipment, you want to pick out your location, you want to set aside time to do it, plan your outfits, and figure out what all you need to take with you for the day of. When you're taking your own photos with kids, whether you have a photographer or not really, planning ahead and dedicating enough time is going to be your saving grace. That's what's going to prevent you from going insane with this whole thing. You don't want to just go out and try and aimlessly find something and throw it together, because we all know that things don't always work out and kids don't always allow us to do that. So you want to plan as much as you can in advance. In terms of outfits, personally, I love a good family coordinated photo shoot. You guys have seen that on my feed and in my videos and stuff. I love matching my kids all the time, but when we're taking family photos, I really like to have us all play within a certain color scheme and then each have our own individual outfits, or have the boys kind of coordinated. A lot of people go for matchy-matchy. It's just totally up to you. But for me, what works for me is planning my outfit first, because I'm the queen of the house after all. So I plan my outfit first because I know that like I care most what I'm wearing over anybody. My kids don't care, my husband doesn't care. And then once we have my outfit planned, I coordinate everyone else's outfits around it. I like to pick pops of color for our kids and have their outfits go nicely together. I usually get their items either from the same line or from the same store. That way they're coordinated perfectly, but they're individual to them. And then my husband works in his outfit with our color scheme accordingly. Obviously, as you can tell by my background, I love neutrals. I love a really clean, like not super vibrant vibe. Part of the reason why I go for that as well is because I know that I always end up framing our family photos. So for me, keeping our look neutral when it comes to our holiday photos or our family pictures means that when I go to blow it up and frame it for our wall, I've shown our gallery wall in our dining room before, when I put pictures there, it's not throwing off the colors of our home decor. I know that no matter what, whether the photo was taken in 2018 with just a baby, when I was pregnant before that, or whether it's taken now with both kids, it's all gonna go together once it's framed and up on the wall. That's just my personal style and kind of my decorating tip in terms of framing. But like I said, outfit coordination is totally personal. I'm not telling you what to do or what looks best, but for me, that's what I find works in the moment and later on too. Just put yourself in something that you feel really great in, that you feel really confident in, because you don't want to dress in something that makes you uncomfortable or something that you're constantly pulling at or tugging at or that you don't feel great in. Overall, the day may feel a little chaotic when you're taking your own pictures, especially with little kids. So you want to do as much as you can to just go into it feeling really confident, feeling really comfortable, and feeling really great. Like, put on your power outfit. So next up, let's talk about location. When I'm looking for a location for taking family photos with our kids, I'm looking for something that's open, that has enough space that they can get out energy, get out the wiggles. It tends to take a little bit of time for them to feel really comfortable with the photo shoot, for them to get into it and be excited about it. You want to find something with enough room that they can run around, they can be really active, and like if they're acting a little crazy, it's okay. It just means that that's a different backdrop for those photos. But you don't want something where they could potentially get hurt, or they could run away, or you're gonna have to be chasing them down all the time. We used to do family photos at the beach all the time, and as Christian got older, it just became more and more stressful because you're constantly trying to get him to not run in the water. There's, all these different things he could get himself into. He's throwing sand all over the place. So we really had to wait till he was a little older and could handle that location. But we have found a couple spots where they're essentially like either business district areas or things like that, where on the outskirts they're closed in so the kids can only go so far. In the main area you're in, it looks really wide and open. So they're able to run around and get that exercise they need and be really active and candid and love it and have fun. And it's a fun outing for them. but you're not in the public area. It's still private enough and you've got sort of those guardrails up. I know that's very vague, and of course, again, it's specific to your location, but as you're thinking about places that would work for you and your kids, that's my tip. Then with weather, you always want to check the weather ahead of time. Be eyeing the weather for the weeks leading up to your photo shoot to make sure you know how to dress, what to expect, if you need an umbrella, if you need to pick a different day. Be flexible with your days and your times, especially if you are taking photos outdoors. And then weather that's slightly overcast, a little bit cloudy, will actually be your best bet for taking pictures, especially your own photos. If you're working with a photographer and it's a super bright, super sunny day, the photographer can kind of guide you through it, help you pick new spots, you know, again, kind of tweak things afterwards to make it look like it wasn't that distracting. But if you're taking photos on your own and you've got little kids and you've got a tripod and a remote, you want to just make it as easy as possible on you. So if it's a slightly overcast, slightly cloudy day, it means that pretty much that whole location is fair game, because you don't have to worry about a really harsh sunlight. You don't have to worry about sun in your eyes or washing you guys out. Pick a spot where either there's shade, so you don't even have to worry about the sun, or pick a day where it's slightly gray and it will give you a little bit more flexibility there. I found in years of both running photo shoots and, you know, doing my own photo shoots that either early morning hours, like 7, 8 in the morning before the sun really gets strong, or that golden hour right before sunset. Golden hour is always everybody's go-to for pictures, but if you're looking for just sort of that crisp, clean, like slightly overcast look, the early morning will work as well too, but typically early morning or golden hour later in the day are going to be your best bet. 12, 1 o'clock, midway through the day are typically not great photo shoot times if you are going out and doing your pictures outside. And like I said, give plenty of time, especially with little kids. You never know when a temper tantrum might come. You never know when kids won't want to wear their outfits. I know when we did our recent holiday photos, I had like coordinating outfits planned, so the boys' outfits looked totally different, but they had the same color scheme, and Christian just did not want to wear his jacket whatsoever, which is fine. They still look so adorable. But you know, it's like that was a little bit of a struggle. That took up more time than we expected. So it's little things like that. He was constantly playing in the rocks nearby, you know, running away from us. So give yourself plenty of time when taking your own pictures. It's really easy to do a 20-minute or 30-minute or hour-long photo shoot with a photographer. For us, it took 2 whole hours to get, granted, we got a lot of pictures, but it took 2 whole hours. And that, you know, is with both kids, and that's like at the location, 2 hours at the spot. So build your day around it, or at least give yourself enough grace so that you're not pressed for time and you're not feeling like, you know, it's not adding additional stress time-wise for you. Sort of along the same lines and going back to equipment, you want to make sure you have an SD card for your camera. If you are using an actual camera, have an SD card with plenty of storage. So you want to give yourself plenty of time in the day. You also want to give yourself plenty of storage on your SD card. If you get a 16 gig, an 8 gig, it might not hold all of the photos and or videos that you guys are taking. And the worst is when you have to sit down and nitpick and decide which ones to keep and which ones to delete in order to make room for more. I always, granted, I know like I create a lot of content, but I go for like the highest gig I can find. 128, 256, even a 64 gig is going to be good for you for an entire photo shoot, and you know, give yourself plenty of space. But when you're taking pictures, and again, especially with small children, when you're taking pictures, you will likely have a lot of photos that don't turn out. You're going to have your eyes closed in a lot of them. You're going to have blurred limbs in a lot of them. You're going to have a whole family looking polished and then one person with their face looking a little crazy. And since you are doing this yourself, unless you know how to Photoshop well, since you are doing this yourself, you want to give plenty of space on the SD card to just get enough chances there and not have to, again, cut into your time by having to sit down and delete and create extra storage for yourself. Trust me, you'll be thankful later. And then my last tip is actually one that I wish we would have done differently, and that is to bring something to distract the kiddos with. Having a toddler and a kid that you can like give your phone to, or you know, a book or a toy or something, that's one thing. But for the babies, that's what I'm talking about, especially the cranky babies like my dear Arlo. So one thing, he was great and we got so many cute photos of him, but one thing I wish we would have done differently is to bring something to distract him and get him to smile and look at whoever was taking the photo. We took a lot of group shots, but we also would have one of us behind the camera taking pictures of the other person with the boys at times. You know, you want to mix it up and not get just 20 pictures of all of you together. You want to get a little bit of mom with the kids, dad with the kids, and any other family members you have with you, pictures of the kids by themselves. And so it would have been really helpful for us if we had something behind the camera to just, as we're taking the picture, hold something up and get him to smile at us and look at us. Something rattly like this that will make noise even outside, that's going to be a really big help. Something like this with a mirror to get him to look and see his reflection and smile at himself, that would be really helpful. We forgot to bring anything like that and we were able to get him to look, but it just took a lot of like yelling and crazy sounds for us to do so. So just like save yourself the embarrassment and just bring, I mean, us parents, all parents know you make crazy sounds to get your kids to smile and laugh, but this just, you know, protects your vocal cords a little bit. Okay, so that's everything for this video. If you guys do DIY your own family photos, let me know. I would tag me in them. I would love to see them. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was helpful. And let me know any other requests for videos you guys would like to see, especially holiday related videos, because we are getting into the season, you guys, and I am pumped. Thanks so much for watching and have a good rest of your day. Bye.